Hey everyone, welcome to Reverse Homesteading. We are almost in the last month of winter in Melbourne, Australia, in the southern hemisphere. So we're looking forward to spring. I can feel my feet kind of getting itchy for spring already. So many things I want to do. Anyway, it's been a while since I have had a proper tour of the garden, pointing at everything and showing you what I've got. So I thought I'd do a tour, especially for those of you who may not have been here long. I've got quite a few new subscribers, so welcome. And we'll have a look at what we're growing here. You may have seen some of our wood chipping videos recently, mainly because we have a lot of these trees. Sweet Possum, quite tall, but they're a softwood tree. They're not too hard to cut down, especially this one because it has so many trunks. We just start at the top and nibble our way down. Well, hubby does anyway. Here are my Dutch cream potatoes in pots. This is a Rose of Sharon, or a Confederate rose. I grew that from a cutting that a friend gave me. These are all sunchokes in pots. I've just harvested my Gippsland Gold potatoes yesterday from here. You may have seen that video. My garlic that's waiting for spring to be ready. Some of them look like they're actually dying off already. That's how you know things in the onion family are ready to go. Ready to be harvested. Yeah, maybe it's just the wet weather. We shall see. So, here's a Moore Park apricot that I'm espaliering, like the rest of my stone fruit and my apples. That hasn't been planted all that long, but we're hoping for a good season. We have little bulbs here. We have yellow and purple hyacinths, as well as some freesias. They're just yellow ones, but they were the ones that were on special. So they're the ones I got. I think they only had white ones otherwise. Sweet Sensations nectarine, also espalier. Oh, yes. People call it a fan shape, but technically it's a vertical version of the very basic espalierine. So you have a central leader, a central trunk, and then the branches out the side. They're at a kind of 45-degree angle, so that helps with airflow and harvest. You might get a bit more harvest on a really big full-size tree, but happy for it not to take up too much space here. More freesias here. We have a Granny Smith apple, which is very popular in Australia for cooking and eating. Most of my kids and even my daughter-in-law love Granny Smith, so that's pretty cool. Oh, and one of my grandkids, at least one. And that is a good pollination pairing with Pink Lady, which is probably the most popular apple in Australia, I would say, in the supermarket. It's very sweet, very crisp. This one's just a first year whip, so it doesn't have any side branches, no laterals, and it will come along just fine. The reason why there's a pot there is because I cut the bottom out of the pot. A lot of the plants I bought in winter, maybe they think they look better with leaves on them, but they must have been protected in the nursery. And that's the problem. You can't, well, you shouldn't. You can, but you shouldn't plant fruit trees that are deciduous while they still have leaves in winter, because they shouldn't have leaves in winter. They should be dormant so that their roots get adjusted to where they are and they get a chance to spread out happily once they get to spring and the growth season. And here is our beautiful olive tree, which we've cut back quite a bit. Unfortunately, most of the tree is still over the neighbour's fence where most of the harvest happens. I'm hoping to cut them perhaps here, cut the branches perhaps here and here, and keep most of the things over our side, so at least we can net it against the birds. The birds do love the olives. I didn't think they would, but they eat chilies because they can't tell about hot things, so maybe they can't taste bitter things either. A little pineapple top that I planted there because I could do that in the far north in Queensland. This is looking like a whip, but I don't think it is. I think it might have got broken in the shop or something. It's just looking a bit sad. But it does have buds that are swelling, so it is going to do something this year. That's my Persian fig that's dormant at the moment. I grew that from a seed. I want to buy another bucket. So this is my rat-proof, well, so far so good, rat and possum-proof composting. So anything fruity, anything green-ish, perhaps I could put that in my leaf pile. This is my leaf compost pile. So the rats aren't interested in that. but they want the fruity things, so if they don't go to the worms, they go in there. But at the moment I'm waiting for this one to finish composting. I've put some dry matter in there and hopefully it'll be ready to go in the garden in spring. I did want to have 2 more buckets by now, but I just haven't got them. They're expensive now, these really tough buckets. I suppose it's whatever people want is what's expensive. Alright, the magnolia, that's an evergreen magnolia. It's not deciduous, most of them are. It's a port wine, so it smells amazing. Allegedly it smells like port wine, but in Australia we have a soft drink or a soda called Portello, and it's just an amazing sweet kind of grape scent. Yes, beautiful. Hasn't flowered yet, I haven't had it that long. These are my sunchokes or Jerusalem artichokes. They are a little bit confined, hopefully. Under here I have some plastic cardboard sheeting, so hopefully they don't escape. One of my lovely viewers warned me that they love to escape and they can do crazy things, go under concrete and all sorts, so I'm hoping it doesn't. Oh, this cherry here that was so cheap, my $10 cherry, didn't mention that. It's a lapin cherry. They are self-pollinating. This is another self-pollinating cherry. This is a Stella cherry. Most people know what they are. I haven't pruned my espalier trees since I planted them because you're supposed to do that at the end of winter. So I haven't done that yet. This is my main row. So in winter it will have the net on for cabbage butterfly protection. Not to protect the butterfly, to protect these from caterpillars that come from the cabbage butterfly. So any kind of brassica is potentially at risk. These are Brussels sprouts. I'd actually forgotten what they were because I didn't put a tag in because I planted them in the rain. But I know now they're Brussels sprouts, and there are also some Swedes or rutabagas in there. I just ran out of space. These are my garlic. If you've been watching my videos for a little while, you would have seen that the last half over here of this garden bed of garlic were relocated from the potato bed. Over there, that was all garlic because I ran out of space for potatoes. So some things are seasonally oriented and some things shouldn't be moved, like garlic, but I did and I got away with it, probably because it was small enough. So I've got some more Swedes or rutabagas here. These are snowball cauliflower, this little one's starting. They're a smaller cauliflower. They only grow to 10 to 15 centimetres across the flower head, and they're a bit of a space saver. And there are only 2 of us at home, so that's enough for us. For the cauliflowers that we'll get, more Swedes or rutabagas. Lettuce. This lettuce seed popped up in the little punnets that I was growing seedlings in, and I thought, why not? Hubby likes lettuce on the salad sandwich. And so far the slugs and snails have left it alone, which is interesting because they haven't left everything alone. These are winter peas, shelling peas, or eating once they're shelled. They're called different things different places, so yeah. This is, I believe it's hollyhock. I planted anise hyssop and hollyhock at the same time, and I haven't planted either of them before, but I'm pretty sure it's hollyhock. I don't know where the tags go. I suppose I'll find it when I pull everything out of the garden bed at the end. That is kohlrabi. It's bulbing up quite well. These are more kohlrabi, but they were planted a bit late. I think they haven't really taken off. They needed a little bit more warmth in autumn to keep going until they did their thing. These ones were planted in late February, so 22nd of February, so that might be my window for kohlrabi to do really well before the cooler weather sets them back a little bit. Over the other side, I'll show you those in a minute. They're mini crunch cabbages. We've got silver beet or chard here. I plant most things from seed, but these ones I actually found in a fruit and vegetable shop after mine didn't sprout and didn't really kick on, but I love the colours. I don't really like to eat them, but I have a few family members and friends who like them, so that's enough for me. I'll just give them away and they just look good in the garden. This is borage. And some onions I thought I'd try to see if it was too cold for them, and it is. Onions are a spring planting crop. They are starting to get bigger now because the weather has started to get a little bit warmer most recently. These are snow peas. They're really starting to come along. This is my DIY string chalice. I will put a link here for you to make one if you want to. These are sugarloaf cabbages. They are pretty good because they are heat tolerant. So they've been a bit slow to grow over winter, but I think they'll be fine. Some more Swedes or rutabagas. I'm going to have so many. Oops, my mini bok choy. We have had hot weather, yeah. It's been getting up to about 16 degrees during the day sometimes. We've also had frosts and rain. These are starting to flower, even though they're tiny. So what you do, with bok choy at least, is just nip those flowers out. Just take the top off. I don't think it's going to do too much to the plant, because if it flowers now, it will stop growing and it won't give us many leaves at all. So I have had trouble up this end of the garden bed with some aphids, and I have some other videos on an organic solution for those, but they will kick on now. Some snowball, I think that's a snowball cauliflower. There are some stray ones here and there. I'll know when they start to grow a cauliflower head. And these are my lovely mini crunch cabbages. They head up pretty quickly for a cabbage, and that gives you a head start on any pest pressure that you might get that just won't have enough time to eat them before you get them. That's the plan anyway. I have a couple of little Savoy cabbages here, so they're a bit late starting, but they will come along. We're not quite in spring yet, so some winter veggies will still have some time to give us some produce. As you can see, I've got quite a few of these snowball cauliflower. It's the first year I've ever planted them, so I'm just making the most of it. And the rest of the garlic up that end. Here in the second row we have some beetroot or beets growing quite well. They also were purchased as seedlings from the same fruit shop because my seedlings didn't come up. The ones that did come up are still struggling because they didn't have enough time before it got too cold. That's okay. There's a little dwarf nasturtium there for a bit of colour. Here is a blackcurrant which I will move to its forever home hopefully soon while it's still dormant. Some more borage. Apparently they can take over your garden beds, but I'm not going to let it. These are potato vine, this one and this one that we got from a friend. They're a little bit fussy, but once I get them to somewhere where they can be in a bigger pot, I think they'll be fine. This is a chili or a pepper that's overwintered. It's a stuffing pepper, golden stuffer I think it's called, and it's still tried to be fruiting over winter, poor little thing, but I've taken the flowers and the fruit off. Oops, missed that one. It has been under a frost cover, so that's how it's survived okay. Here's my experimental cherry tomato. I grew it at the end of summer into autumn, and yeah, it hasn't grown very much, which I knew it wouldn't, but that's okay. But I just put it there to see how it would do in my tomato experiment, so you can find earlier on while I've been living here. Here are my blueberries. This is a Denise blueberry, and this variety is a blue rose blueberry. There are 3 different types of blueberries. If you want excellent pollination, it's good to have some from each. There's the northern highbush variety, which is that one, and the southern highbush and rabbit eye variety. But sadly, both of mine are the northern highbush variety because I wasn't thinking about it at the time. Anyway, this is my autumn royal grape, which was purchased. It was at a funny angle, so I've just put it at a correct angle in the pot and it's fine. It was gnawed off. It used to have another side branch. It was gnawed off by a rat or possum or something. I don't know how it got to it really, but obviously this floppy fence doesn't always work. Here's my overwintered horseradish that can escape a bit if you're not careful. Here are my parsnips and assorted carrots. Most of them are different colours, so this one is purple. It's bulking up quite nicely, and I think one of these is pale. No, here's another purple one. That's pretty cool. And I think these ones are pale. There are some yellow carrots and some orange carrots as well. There's a pale one. So they were grower's choice. I had some trouble with the carrots because I had cardboard over them because I didn't have a board. Most people put a board down once they sow the seeds. That keeps the seeds moist while they sprout. Then you take it off once they do sprout. Keeps them away from slugs and snails a little bit too. But we had a lot of rain, and the cardboard had rain come out underneath it, and they all washed into the one spot. So I have thinned these out somewhat, which is hard to tell because they're doing well. I do have a control area of about 5 together here, so I will show you when I harvest those what the difference is. Another dwarf nasturtium, some more mini bok choy, which some of them have been a bit nibbled, but that's alright. That happens with organic gardening. The little brown tops there are bunting onions. Swede, best of all, or rutabagas they're also called. My little grandson's poppy, little red poppy, and some leftover Hunter Riven brown onions, which, you know, also not the best time of the year for it. Some lettuce seedlings that a friend gave me. I've got the holes ready, but then I got really busy yesterday unexpectedly, so I will plant those. They've been out for about a week and a half, so they're ready to go out in the garden. Here are some poppies again, my tangelo, and they'll be planted along the fence line. Lime, Tahitian lime are good for juicing. It's probably what we'll be using it for the most. And a Eureka lemon, which I think is an Australian variety. Have a lot less thorns than the Lisbon lemon and other lemons. This is my Bowen or Kensington Pride mango, which I grew from seed. They're the only ones that grow true to type as far as I know. Maybe the R2E2, but I'm not sure. More borage. That's good for chop and drop. It's a medicinal plant. I don't really know much about medicinal plants, so I just use it for composting and getting some more nutrients into the soil. There's not much happening in this garden bed. We've just got our thornless blackberry. I have been making cuttings out of the laterals for that, the side branches, so they'll be ready to go out in spring. So these are two things bought fairly recently in the last month or two, and they also haven't lost their leaves, so that's another blackcurrant. So I'll plant that near my blackcurrant that has gone dormant that I've had for longer. Here is a normal size nasturtium. I like those for peppery leaves. You can eat the flowers as well. This borage is getting big, so I'll have to put some of that in my compost or on my fruit trees. Here's the spring onions, green onions, shallots, scallions. They have so many different names that we just use in the cooking that we do. These ones are grown from seed, and these ones I've just chopped the roots off when we cook them, and hubby saves them as well. He cooks a lot too, and they are fantastic. They're just so tough. You can grow them in a glass of water in the sunshine on the windowsill inside, but I think they're best in the garden, so I just put the root plus about that much of the white bit at the bottom, just completely chopped off, put them in the garden, water them, and they take off pretty quickly. Here are my red dragon fruit cuttings. They do not like winter. They come from Chile, and they come from the mountains, so they don't mind a bit of rain, but these might have got a bit frosted. I have had a frost cover on them, but not really sure what their problem is. I think it's mostly the rain, so we might lose some of those. I might have to cut them back. They're looking a bit sad, so next year I might try to keep some rain off them in winter. In Melbourne we have a temperate climate, so most of our rain is in winter. Another dwarf nasturtium, that's an orange one. My little rosemary. Here is my lemon verbena. This is going to be a herb garden because it's a bit short. It's, I suppose you could plant carrots there if you really wanted to, but I am in the other one. But that's going to be for herbs because it's near the steps to the house and easy just to run out and grab things. That's why the spring onions are here. So very easy access once I get these pots out of here. And in Melbourne, because things go dormant, you really don't grow many herbs over winter. These are crocus saffron plants. There is a video where I have saffron plants being harvested if you want to look for that one. It was a month or two ago, I think. I'll link it in the description actually so you can find it there. Here's some more freesias. These are Megdal dates that I grew from seed. I don't know why. This is the water I have for little creatures, mostly for bees and other little things that need a bit of extra water. Sometimes lizards use it, little skinks. We actually have native Australian geckos here too, which is great. This little stick helps them climb out if they fall into the water, especially bees seem to do that, sometimes skinks. So that's a little safety thing for the animals, and it's safer than a pond for the grandkitties. Got a potting bench. Got my strawberries, which have had frost covers on them, so they've overwintered quite well actually. I don't have a garden shed yet, so that's why that mess is there. This is my galangal root. Hasn't really done anything over winter, but I didn't expect it to, not in this climate. I'm used to growing things like that in the tropics and they just grow for the most part, although we did have frosts where we were on the Atherton tablelands, so they didn't grow as quickly. Ginger, mint. I'm going to take this little one that's taking off and some roots and get another pot going of mint. Yeah, never had too much mint. These are little purple hyacinths, which I didn't have a spot for in the garden when I got them, so they just ended up in a pot. Here's a pomegranate that I grew from seed. This is a persimmon that I grew from seed, so they're both dormant at the moment, obviously. So I've got a few different varieties of strawberry. I'm going to put more strawberries in here. These are planted at the end of summer. Look at the tiny, tiny sage. That's all it's done from being a seedling. It's basically not grown at all over winter. So there's your impression of what herbs do over winter in Melbourne. There's some dill and there's some watercress just there, and a bit from my tree. We have a desert ash tree, drops bits pretty much year round. Alrighty, so I'm going to put some more strawberries in there, and this is my rhubarb which I purchased. It was looking a bit sad. I'm hoping it comes back. If it does come back, I will plant it out in my other area that I'll show you in a minute. Here's my new potato bed that I planted just the other day. The soil is mounded up, it's hard to see from there, but that soil and those leaves came from the top of our garage roof when hubby was clearing trees between the garage and the fence, which shouldn't have been there. There was a lot of soil on the garage roof. Thankfully it wasn't rusting it and making the roof leak, but they are Gippsland Gold potatoes, just like the ones I harvested yesterday. Here are a few things in the mini DIY greenhouse that I made. It's just made of 2 shelves, which are cable tied or zip tied together, and I've got builder's film around the outside. So I had a lot of materials left over, but it was way less than $50 if you could buy smaller amounts of the materials that I bought. But yes, you can go looking for that if you like. Those big plants there, they are black sugar cane, so that's a long shot. I could grow so many things in the tropics. I didn't want to let some things go. When I saw them at the fruit shop, I thought, oh, I can grow those, but who knows. Most of these plants you can see in videos that I've done before, so I won't go through all of them. Here are my 2 native frangipanis that I grew from seed. The seed actually came from a plant that I had to give away to a family member who then posted me seed from it. So I planted the seed, and yeah, this is the next generation of the same plant. This is my native Australian currant plant. it's getting used to this spot before I plant it out. Here is our little worm farm. I have videos on that as well. They're going pretty well. Here is my Panama passion fruit, looking like passion fruit often do in winter in Melbourne, but it will be fine. It's just getting used to things here. I also had it out to see if the possums would eat the leaves. They eat the leaves of citrus trees, probably because they're hungry in winter. We have a lot of Australian possums, brush-tail possums. There's actually a video of that as well, of one of those up in a tree. I'll link it in the description actually. So that will be giving us lovely passion fruit in the next year or two. And here is our messy little corner here that I'm still working on. I pulled this fern up about 2 or 3 weeks ago. It's still green. These shelves we're going to put on the outside of our garage so that we can hold wood and that sort of thing. This is going to be a seating area. I'm going to paint those that were left behind by the previous people. This is a thunderstorm, which I'm not going to keep. These are weedy trees, still trying to grow. There's some of the huge trees that we've been pulling out and chipping. They just don't stop. The seeds drop and yeah, that's where they want to be. These are little spring star flowers that I planted on Tuesday, actually, a couple of days ago. And they are little bulbs that have little blue star flowers, which will be cool. These are some orchids, 2 orchids and 2 bromeliads my friend gave me. Just finishing flowering. So pretty. I used to not like bromeliads, but I really do now, especially the stripes. Quite striking, really. And they're easy to grow. These are... Oh, it looks like something's jumped on that. Oh, it's broken. I'm going to blame a possum for that. Perhaps if I leave it forward, it'll come back. It might reattach itself. We shall see. This is my little rhubarb plant. It's a rhubarb crown that I planted a week or 2 ago. The leaf still hasn't totally unfurled. I would have thought it would have by now, but it hasn't. Won't take long though. Once it gets to spring, the weather warms up, it'll be fine. I am going to put my grapevine along here once this plant is gone, so that will be good. So that's my garden for now in late winter 2025. So I hope you're having fun in your garden. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.